And talking about reading, there's times that when we're reading a text and I see the map there, they're comparing and contrasting, I'll tell the kids, okay, we're going to read this section and you're going to see, think of what thinking map you might be able to use here, and they'll find it, they'll say, oh yeah, this is compare and contrast or a flow map. So within the reading, they can use that, like you say, to organize their thinking.
I think of it as a visual representation of what's actually going on in their brain.
Yes.
And
yes.
I will say to the children, look into my brain. I'm going to think out loud.
For our English learners is it gives them that visual so that they can organize their thinking. So instead of wrestling with, say, the text on a whole page, they can separate it into the most important components of that page, and that way know the essential as far as what we want them to know.
As a teacher trainer now, it makes it so much easier for me to go into any classroom and do a lesson for the teacher, and using the same language that I can use in K through 5. When I train at another school that doesn't use the thinking maps, I can't relate anymore. Unless you know the maps, I can't really give you any tools.
The past couple of days we're working on farm animals. We're doing a tree map and all the information. And this was so awesome today because it was like we were reading this page about the sheep, and I said to them, we had sheep on our branch, and I said, okay, read this page and you figure out what facts you learned about the sheep. And man, they were right there, and they weren't necessarily reading, they were skimming, they were finding the information. It was like, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, they totally understood it.
Yeah.
And then they said, well, should we read the page now? Sure, go ahead and read the page.
If it wasn't for our administrator here, Stephanie, who is passionate about this, I think because of that enthusiasm, it has carried to the staff. And without her, I think, leading us with that passion, I don't think we might not be where we are. And also, she's so willing to go in and do lessons and things with us that we can, we see it.
With her literacy background and her teaching background, right?
It's just in a nice, whole package here. So.
Whether it's what strategy am I going to use to decode, or what map am I going to use to communicate. And that has really been a jumping off point from the maps themselves. Not just, we always wanted them to be metacognitive, but we never had the ability to teach them to open their brain. And now we have the way to visualize the way the brain is working, and that has been extremely powerful. And our most at risk and our accelerated students are, what can you do to help yourself? And they will sit back and say, well, and then their eyes will float to a thinking map somewhere in the room, and they'll say,
is that true?
Yes, because the strategies are everywhere. And how to communicate these metacognitive strategies in open court for the students. Because it's so easy to talk it, and then you get that kind of
glazed
from the kids, that kind of blank stare.
Yeah.
But being able to do that intermediate step of showing the thinking on a map now provides a scaffold for the students, so they say, I understand, I can see it, I can't do it yet, but I at least understand that this is what my thinking is going to be when I master that.
The hardest thing is to get people to differentiate between graphic organizers and thinking maps.
Yeah.
That they really are, one is a way of organizing and the other is literally a visual representation of the thinking.